Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti is not only a talented rapper, he's an entrepreneur. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, he started rapping at the age of 14 under the name Lil Yo, and after finding his signature sound, switching to the name Yo Gotti. Since then, he's released numerous mixtapes and albums, even getting nominated for 3 awards at the BET Hip Hop Awards and once at the Soul Train Awards in 2017, all while forming his own label, CMG, also known as Collective Music Group. The record label has an impressive roster, signing artists like Snooty Wild, Moneybagg Yo, Blac Youngsta, and more. Despite releasing hits like Rake It Up with Nicki Minaj and Act Right featuring YG and Jeezy, he's actually admitted and talked about how he may be a better executive than rapper.
Know how to take a rapper to the next space. It's totally two different worlds. And a lot of people don't know that.
An amazing job.
Yeah. I think I'm a better executive than rapper.
Really?
Yeah.
So will you eventually...
Eazy-E. Eazy was always in the rap game as a hustle rather than for his love of the craft, which is why he didn't write most of his music. He had his finger in many pies, rapping, producing, but what he really excelled at was being an executive of his record company. Through Eazy-E's Ruthless Records, his group NWA prospered, releasing multiple albums that resulted in them being one of the most well-known rap groups of all time. After the unfortunate split of NWA, Ruthless Records showed no signs of slowing down, signing acts like Above the Law, BG Knockout, and most notably, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. Bone Thugs' debut album East 1999 Eternal got great reception from critics, with its topping the Billboard 200 for 2 consecutive weeks and eventually being nominated at the Grammys for Best Rap Album. However, despite selling millions of records, the label faced financial troubles as signees accused the label's co-founder, Jerry Heller, of scamming them and taking more money than what he deserved. After Eazy-E's passing and Jerry Heller leaving the label, Eazy-E's wife Tamika Wright became the sole owner of the label and later signed Hopsin. Gucci Mane. Known for being one of the creators of trap music, Gucci Mane is equally talented with making music as he is with signing and developing new artists. In 2007, Gucci encountered a lot of problems with the label he was signed to, including an unauthorized release of one of his albums, and following that, he got out of his deal and launched his own label, 1017 Records. It wasn't until signing Waka Flocka that 1017 Records had its first hot artist, and with Hard in the Paint, they also scored their first Billboard charting hit song. Gucci didn't stop there. In 2012, he signed both Young Scooter and Young Thug, artists who would do big things in the years to come. After a 2013 Twitter rant, Gucci kicked Scooter and Thug off his label, selling Thug's contract to 300 Entertainment, where he went on to become a superstar. Shortly thereafter, Gucci got locked up for close to 3 years, but that didn't slow him down. Today, 1017 is still active, and Gucci has signed some promising artists, including Rallo, Hoodrich Pablo Yuan, Asian Doll, and Z-Money. Master P. Originally born in Louisiana, Master P used an inheritance from his grandfather to open a Richmond, California record store known as No Limit Records. This became the foundation for his very own record label under the same name, where he signed Dangerous Dame and a few other artists in California before going back to his hometown of New Orleans. After getting back to New Orleans, No Limit hit stride, adding rappers like Soulja Slim, Mystical, and Snoop Dogg to the roster, all of which sold millions of records. Master P continued to expand his career, acting in movies and working on soundtracks for films like I Got the Hookup, released in 1998, and Foolish, released in 1999. No Limit Records went through several changes beginning in 2001, when they left Priority Records to sign a new deal with Universal, where they released albums from artists like Magic, Little Romeo, Choppa, the 504 Boys, and P's brother, Corey Miller. After those changes, the label fell on hard times, eventually going bankrupt due to various lawsuits, resulting in P abandoning the label and selling off its entire catalog. As of today, Master P is still relevant in the music industry. He's been a mentor to artists like Kodak Black, and he hasn't stopped working on films with the recent release of I Got the Hookup 2. Despite that No Limit Records isn't a prominent label in 2019, it's still pretty clear that Master P is a better businessman than rapper. Rick Ross. In 2009, Ross released his third studio album, Deeper Than Rap, on his newly founded record label, Maybach Music Group, or MMG for short. Though MMG started off as an independent label for Ross to release his own music through, it wasn't long until he started adding artists to the roster. In 2011, after unsuccessfully attempting to sign Wiz Khalifa, Ross announced that he had signed Meek Mill and Wale, following that up with Self-Made Volume 1, a compilation album by MMG. The album was a success, debuting at number 5 on Billboard Hot 100 and selling 58,000 copies in its first week. Ross didn't stop there, in 2012 adding French Montana to MMG's roster. In the years to follow, Wale and French Montana left the label, but MMG has continued to prosper with Ross and Meek remaining its flagship artists, while it still boasts lesser-known acts Fat Trail and Tracy T. The record label has, to date, released 19 solo albums and 3 compilation albums, 5 of which have been certified gold, so it's safe to say Ross has earned his nickname, The Boss. T.I. After the poor commercial reception to his 2001 debut album, I'm Serious, T.I. was quickly dropped from Aristar Records. Fed up dealing with labels, in 2003 he formed Grand Hustle and began dropping several mixtapes assisted by DJ Drama. By 2006, with singles like 24s and Rubber Hand Man, T.I. had become a well-known name in rap, and he soon signed fellow Atlanta rapper Young Dro to Grand Hustle. Young Dro proved to be a success with the release of his hit single, gaining a lot of radio play and selling over 500,000 cell phone ringtones, but it wasn't long until T.I. got arrested for federal weapons charges. After serving a year in prison, T.I. didn't waste any time signing both B.O.B. and Meek Mill to Grand Hustle Records. Although Meek's deal didn't work out, B.O.B. found huge success with Grand Hustle, scoring a #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. In 2012, Iggy Azalea signed with Grand Hustle, followed by the 2013 signing of Travis Scott, with both artists now being household names and Travis still being signed to Grand Hustle. T.I. has always aimed to establish himself as more than just a rapper, and he definitely succeeded. Kanye West. The same year Kanye transitioned from being a producer to a rapper, dropping his debut album, he also started his own record label, Good Music. Good started off with 2 artists, John Legend and Common. Between the two, John Legend was an upcoming artist who hadn't released his debut album yet, while Common had already released 5 albums prior. Both Common and Legend's debuts on Good were well received, with them both being nominated for several Grammys and Legend actually winning 3 of them. In May of 2007, Big Sean was added to the roster, followed by Kid Cudi in 2008 and Mos Def and Pusha T in 2010. While most artist-owned labels focus on simply developing new talent, with Pusha T, Mos Def, Common, and many more, Kanye has made it a habit to sign already well-known artists while their career is in limbo. Fast forward to 2019, with the signing of Sheck Wes, Designer, Valet, and Tiana Taylor, plus the label's expansion to managing artists like 2 Chainz, Good Music has become a hip-hop powerhouse. Birdman. No one could ever have guessed that Cash Money Records would be as successful as it is today. What started as an indie label created by 2 brothers with no music industry connections has now become one of the most influential record labels in history, with over 1 billion records sold.
Big boy right here, baby. 1 billion units. I mean to say this to all you something. It's like, for real. I don't give a f*** about selling another record. I accomplished what I never thought I could accomplish.
Birdman was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, with a rough upbringing, losing his mother at only 5 years old and living in foster homes until his father won custody of him after a long legal battle. In 1991, him and his older brother Slim started Cash Money Records with one goal: get out of poverty. Within the first 2 years of the label's inception, they released a plethora of projects from artists like UNLV, Pimp Daddy, Little Slim, and more, but it definitely wasn't an overnight success story. In 1997, 6 years after they started the label, is when they really found their sound, signing Juvenile and releasing his debut album Soldier Rags, signing BG and releasing his second album It's All On You, and most importantly, bringing the Hot Boys together to release Get It How You Live. While Slim played the background, Birdman couldn't resist being in the spotlight, and he started juggling rapping and being the CEO of Cash Money. Despite his music not being received well, he persisted, and as of today, has released 5 studio albums, and he continues to rap in 2019, but it's obvious his true calling is being a music exec. Cash Money has one of the longest, most successful track records in hip-hop history. Despite financial disputes with a lot of their artists, they remain relevant in 2019, especially with the signing of Blueface. So, who do you guys think is the best rapper turned CEO?